Barack Obama dropped a final humiliation on Donald Trump in Milwaukee, Wisconsin over the weekend. And he started with this is the viral clip, and I want to kind of give you the architecture of this. I'm going to play for you the short viral clip of Obama sort of making fun of The Apprentice in a way. But this was a deep speech that really got to the core of why Donald Trump represents not only things that as individuals we shouldn't want, but things that as a representative of the United States we should not want. Okay, so let's start with Obama just kind of ragging on Trump over The Apprentice.
In talking to people, I've realized, so I want to address this. It turns out one of the reasons people think Donald Trump will improve the economy is because they watched The Apprentice. I'm serious. No. I'm not kidding. I've heard this, people say this. I happened to miss that show when it was running, but it was really popular. So I want everybody to be clear. That was not reality. That was a reality show. The truth is, Donald Trump was given $400 million by his daddy. That's how he got rich. And somehow his company still managed to declare bankruptcy 6 times.
This goes to the core of what Trump wants us to believe about him that happens not to be true, because the core of all of Trump's claims to being a qualified president go back to, I would run the country like a business. I know how to run businesses. I was a good business person. And we find out he didn't build his business from the ground up. He built it with daddy's money. Okay, that doesn't mean it's a bad business. It just means you didn't build it from the ground up. But it also wasn't a particularly good business because, of course, we have the bankruptcies. Trump's claim about hiring people, because he's so good at business, he knew how to hire contractors and he knows how to hire people to work for him as president. And it turns out that wasn't true. And it turns out it was also based on a false claim. This claim of the business acumen has been taken apart again and again and again. And Barack Obama in this speech continued to go at all of the worst stuff about Trump, including, we'll get to it later, but over the weekend, Trump started doing this thing where, remember, is Kamala Indian or is she black? Well, he was concerned or confused about NBA basketball player Giannis Antetokounmpo, where he's like, well, is he Greek or is he black? Maybe I'm more Greek than Giannis. Okay, here we go.
If you are black or Latino, and you feel like too often your community is overlooked by politicians except during election time, I get how you feel. But why would you think the answer is to vote for someone who has a long history of demeaning and disregarding your communities, whose family business was sued for not renting to folks that look like you, who cannot apparently understand how an NBA superstar could be both Greek and black, who suggests any Mexican crossing the border is a criminal and a rapist, who spreads ridiculous fantasies that Haitians are eating people's pets, who just this past week arranged for one of his supporters to tell jokes about black people eating watermelon and Puerto Rico being an island of garbage, right there on stage at Madison Square Garden.
What Obama is so good at doing, and we're taking it, we're going through it now, and you're going to see it. Obviously, you could watch the whole speech to get a more detailed picture, but this will give you sort of the waypoints. He starts with these anecdotes, The Apprentice, oh, give me a break. Then he goes into the sort of bully nature of Trump with these additional phrases that Trump has used about this group or that group. And then he gets to even Trump's claimed accomplishments as president. To some degree, they were either the result of happenstance or thanks to Trump following me, this is Obama speaking now, and what I handed to him.
Trump's other big idea is to slap a tariff on everything from food to TVs. Now, almost every economist who has looked at this idea says that won't lower prices, that makes prices higher. And when he's challenged on this point, Trump will brag about, well, look at gas prices. They were $2 a gallon when I was in office. You know why gas was so cheap? Because there was a global lockdown during COVID and nobody was driving. And he's talking about it like it was the good old days.
Well, for Trump, it really was the good old days. Through the prism that Trump uses to analyze whether things are going well, Trump was doing daily COVID press conferences, which got, as far as he was concerned, good ratings. That means it was going well. It doesn't matter if people were dying. It doesn't matter if there were no rolls of toilet paper available. It just doesn't matter because that's not the prism through which Trump sees this stuff. A really good speech by Barack Obama, who expertly goes to each of Trump's big vulnerabilities. And it wasn't just Obama who did this over the weekend. Let's talk a little bit about Tim Walz. Let's talk about a game changer in sleep technology, our sponsor 8 Sleep and their revolutionary Pod 4 Ultra. The Pod is a high-tech mattress cover, and you can easily add it to your existing mattress. You can cool or heat your mattress based on your preferences and even elevate your head if you snore. I run hot. I hate getting hot when I sleep. That's why I set my 8 Sleep Pod to keep my mattress at a cool 60 degrees at night. You can set it anywhere from 55 to 110 degrees. You can set each side of the bed independently to a different temperature depending on your preferences versus your partner's, or you can set your pod to detect your body's sleep cycles and automatically adjust temperature for optimal sleep. The pod can also detect when you're snoring and automatically adjust the position of the bed to reduce or even stop the snoring. This can be a huge factor in how rested you will feel the next day, and your sleeping partner will thank you bigly. You get 30 days to try it at home. Return it if you don't like it, but I know you'll love it as much as I do. Go to 8sleep.com/Pacman. Use the code Pacman to get $350 off your Pod 4 Ultra. The link is in the description.